We'll figure it out.
Sweet.
As we go. Okay. All right. Welcome to episode 2 of the Alto-pinion podcast, not to be confused with the Alt-opinion podcast. This episode, we have undergrad staff member
Kelsey Gruber. How's it going? I'm a third-year student at the University of Iowa studying human physiology on the pre-dental track. Shout out to Aiden. He's my teeth buddy. He's also going to be a dentist, so we love him. Let's see. Yeah, undergraduate staff member in the band. I'm also on the new recruitment committee, which just got started this year. And then fun facts, I have 2 dogs named Coco and Marshmallow, and we're trying to get my dad to get a 3rd dog so we can name him Graham so we can have a s'more, but that's probably not going to happen. And then I'm also thinking of adopting a cat, so I don't know. I need opinions on that. I should get a cat or not.
I don't like cats. That's my opinion.
You don't like cats?
Don't get one.
Don't get a cat?
I think cats are kind of scary, but that's just me.
All right. And then below me is
Christian Frankl. Hi, I'm Christian. So I am a sophomore at the University of Iowa studying political science and also like a pre-law realm. And then I'm minoring in German. And something about me, I love soccer. I've always loved soccer since I was a kid, and I'm very double jointed. So that's cool.
all right. And this week, their chosen topic to discuss their opinion on is their experiences as drum majors in high school. So however you guys want to start off.
So I was a drum major for 4 years at my high school, and I got bullied for that when I came to Iowa because all of the undergrad staff and upperclassmen were like, oh, you were a drum major for 4 years. And I'm like, yeah. And I was really quiet my first year, so it's just like kind of, I don't know. It was a big change going from being in a leadership position for 4 years to coming to Iowa and not knowing anything and not knowing how to high step and just learning about how to march, because I never even marched in high school. My only marching experience was parades, and we didn't really like care in parades, you know. So that was a big difference for me coming to Iowa, was just not being in a leadership position.
Yeah, my drum major. I was the drum major for 2 years in my high school because we had a lot bigger of a band. So the spot only opened up when you were a junior in high school. So I was the drum major for 2 years. And yeah, I mean, it's been a lot different from my experience. This is my first, I'm a sophomore at the university, but this is my first year in the Hawkeye marching band. And yeah, it's totally different for me, even though I was a drum major in high school. I mean, the high step, the marching fundamentals, it's a whole nother ball game for me, even though I did a little bit of marching when I was in high school. So it's been a completely different experience.
How did you audition in high school?
It was like this big audition. So we had like 2 weeks to prepare. So we learned a lot of like mace and conducting fundamentals because I spun mace and I did just normal conducting. And so the audition process was pretty crazy. So we had 2 weeks of like learning all the fundamentals of this stuff. And then we had this audition with, I think we had to audition, there was like 8 people, and we had to audition in front of our 3 band directors. And then after that, we had to go down to, I think it went down to 3 other people. It was me and 2 other girls. And so then we had to audition in front of the entire band. So we had to conduct the band, do all the mace work in front of the band. And there's 300 people in my band in high school. So it's like this big thing. It was really, really nerve wracking, but it was still a cool experience. So yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That would be a lot.
It was a lot. How about you? What was your audition like?
So for our auditions, we're kind of a smaller school. I went to Independence, which is like 120 kids per class. And I say our band it varied around like 100 to 120 kids in the band. And so I auditioned for drum major in 7th grade. So I was the 8th grade drum major in middle school.
7th grade?
Yeah, we had like middle school marching band. But middle school marching band was literally just, we marched in the homecoming parade and we had a halftime show, but it was kind of ridiculous, but it was fun. So did that in middle school, and then I'm like, I kind of liked this, so I just, we're not going to get it, but we're just going to audition for high school. And basically we had an interview. We had this like big interview, and then we had to conduct in front of the other audition, everyone who wanted to audition, we had to conduct in front of them, and we had to do the Star Spangled Banner. And then for some reason we had to do commands, even though we never used commands at all at rehearsal.
Yeah, I did that. I actually had to do that too. We had to do like these commands, even though they're commands that I don't think I ever used outside of audition. So
I've been using commands more now in HMB than I did in high school.
You're good at the commands in the HMB, so I can definitely vouch for you on that case. Yeah.
But we just had to do that, and then I said the interview first, but the interview was like the last thing, and I just remember being asked, "Oh, how are you going to handle the upperclassmen?" And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I'll be nice. And that was the interview, and I don't know why, but I got it. So I was in middle school, and I got that position, and then there was a leadership workshop, and I didn't even get the invitation to go to the leadership workshop because my band director kind of forgot about me because he thought I was in high school and that I would already know about it. So because I was the band nerd who hung out in the band room before school, so I showed up and I was just hanging with my friends, and all the leadership was going into the jazz band room, and I'm like, am I supposed to go in there? And my band director's like, oh yeah, go. I have to get you excused from class. And I'm like, so that was a mess. That was a good way to get acquainted.
Yeah, I think my first memory of like being the drum major after I got it was we have like band camp week, and so that was also really nerve-wracking too because the first time conducting, especially for me with like being in a 300-person band, it's pretty intimidating when you have upperclassmen that are older than you, and it's kind of an intimidating experience, but I definitely thought it was fun. So
do you know everyone, did you know everyone in your band pretty much?
I mean, I tried my best. I'm horrible with names, which I feel like is a bad thing to be with being a drum major, but I tried my best even with 300 people. So yeah, I definitely tried to get to know as many people as possible. But so you said your band was competitive?
Yes, we were very competitive.
What was that like, being a drum major and having a completely a competitive band?
So basically, like, my role at rehearsal was to just keep people focused, and usually there were 2 or 3 drum majors, so we'd have a front podium drum major and then we'd have a back podium. And my first 2 years I was kind of stuck on the back podium and I was doing the metronome a lot, but I also liked the back podium because I could talk to all the people who were on the back field, so I got to know a lot of people when I would just be chilling on my podium, just like hanging out. But we basically just tried to promote rehearsal etiquette, tried to set good examples. We'd show up early to set things up, stay late to put everything away because we had lots of props, lots of speakers. We started using microphones my junior year to make the band sound louder. We had a huge
microphones for the band. Microphones for the band.
Yeah, we would just put them I don't remember what yard lines we would put them on, but it was just to make it a little louder because there were not that many of us, and we would compete at these huge competitions with huge bands. So it was just kind of taking the band into the next step, kind of like the band app they were using now, just online. I don't know, it was just another step. But yeah, and so basically for a competitive drum major, you have to have a salute at the beginning, and you can't start your show unless your drum major salute, otherwise you get docked.
One of these things,
yeah.
Do the hat and then the
My junior year we tried to incorporate a hat flip. Did you ever try that?
No.
God, it was nerve-wracking. Junior year was just kind of rough because our show was chess themed, and so we had huge chess pieces on both sides of the field. I know. And we played classical music, and basically the chess pieces moved, and the third movement I had to talk, so I literally had to turn around and I had to wear a microphone and I had to say checkmate, and it was the worst thing ever because I'm the only drum major who wasn't in choir, so I have no control over my voice, and it was always checkmate, or my last time was checkmate, and it sounded so bad, but they wanted me to do it because I was on the main podium. I was just so that was a stressful year. But otherwise, just you have to salute, and then you have to salute when you're done, and then you do awards. Drum majors do awards with the color guard captains.
Gotcha. So that sounds I would say the similarities from my experience is, I guess, being a good example, being on time, showing up early to get things set up for rehearsals, or being there late. I feel like that sort of leadership idea that comes with being a drum major is, no matter where you're at, no matter what style of band you have, that's going to be the same. But yeah, I mean, we had different shows each week. We did not compete. So I think my school didn't compete because we were so big, and they wanted to keep the numbers big. And they thought if we would have went competitive, then less people would have done it because they thought people would have quit, and they wanted to maintain our image of being this big band. So that's one of the reasons why we didn't compete. But yeah, I mean, I did a salute too, but again, it was like with a mace, which was really nerve-wracking too during like football games, because we would have a pregame show and we would do the salute with the mace, and there was two of us. And so trying to get like the mace to do the same thing at the same time was always a big struggle, but it was fun. It was fun. And so, but yeah, I think sort of there's a lot of similarities and a little bit of differences. And we didn't have like props or anything like that, not being competitive. So, and we didn't have a color guard either.
So did you conduct during shows, or did you use your mace?
So pregame, it would be like mace work. And then during half times we would conduct. Yeah. So it was like the best of both worlds. I was happy I was able to get to do both, because I kind of liked doing both. I liked to practice doing both. I thought it was pretty fun. And then also like all of our like commands and salutes, we would do like our commands we would do with the mace as well, even though we only used them during parades, which was the one parade per year that we went to. So
nice. How long have you been using your mace? Like, when did you start practicing with it?
I started practicing, so I got a mace like a year or 2 years before I auditioned for drum major, because I always like kind of wanted to do it. And so I always knew that I kind of wanted to practice with it and, you know, get some repetitions before. But yeah, I think the most practice I did was like a couple weeks before the audition. So, and I mean, I'm not like super good at the mace, but I'm just good enough. So high school marching band, I can good enough for my high school band. But it was actually cool. My band, one spring break, got to go to Disney World to march to Disney. We got an invitation, which was super cool. And so me and the other drum major, we got to come up with our own mace routine for the whole parade, which was really cool. So we were like watching so many videos of like college drum majors or like really professional drum majors with the maces, and we were trying to like incorporate that stuff into our own routine, which is cool. But we were not successful getting it all in there, because some of the stuff was really, really advanced. But yeah, it was still fun. And to get to do that at Disney World was one of the coolest experiences I think I've ever had.
When did you go? Did you go around like the holidays?
Yeah, it was during spring break of my junior year. So it was my first year as drum major. So it was pretty cool. It was definitely a cool experience to get to go with the whole band too. So all 300 people got to go to Disney World. We got to ride all the rides and stuff. It was definitely a little hectic, especially being the drum major too, because, you know, I had to make sure people were on time doing all the stuff they needed to be doing and stuff. But yeah,
I asked about the holidays because my band, every 4 years they did a Disney trip like that. So we went down over Christmas break, and yeah, I think did you march in the Magic Kingdom?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we did the same route.
Sweet.
It was so fun.
We've marched the same places. How cool.
Look at that.
Look at us.
Kyle, did your band ever have trips?
Well, we didn't have a marching band in my high school. So like, not really, but we had a Europe trip that they had every 4 years. So my senior year, I think, was when we had it. So we went to like German speaking countries, and we had like concerts with just like normal like classical music there. So I think, where did we go? We went to the Czech Republic, Austria, and then one other place. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be fun.
But I mean,
that sounds really bougie. Like we were like, oh, we went to Disney, and he's like, we actually went to Europe and played classical music. It was really nice.
Well, I mean, like, Disney sounds fun. Like, honestly, I wouldn't complain if I went to Disney instead of going to Europe. I mean, Europe was cool and all, but like, Disney's also pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney was fun. We were there on New Year's Eve, and I just remember my group and I, just people kept leaving the park. And so we just kept getting free fast passes from people. And so we rode like the Tower of Terror like 3 times. Oh my God, it was just bizarre. And I was a junior in high school, and this was like freedom, and I was just running around this park all day. It was fun. Like you said, it was one of the best experiences that I've had.
Yeah, I remember we were all trying. I think like only a certain amount of the kids in the band was able to get fast passes for us, and it like depended on which day or whatever. And so we'd all be like trying to bribe people to give them our fast passes. Yeah, fast passes are essential when you go to Disney. So
If you're bribing someone for an item, isn't that just buying it off them?
Yeah, but I think we weren't just buying them. I think it was like, oh, if depending on like the day, it's like, oh, you give me yours because I want to go in this day with one of my other friends who also has it that day. So it was
Okay.
like bribing them with the day that we had it. So no, I wasn't paying anyone. Wasn't paying anyone for the fast passes, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, since we're kind of like in a break area, I'm just going to take a moment to thank our unofficial sponsor, Beanies. They keep your head warm when it's cold out.
The HM beanie.
I'm so sad I don't get to wear my HM beanie this year.
Maybe for a recording sometime.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I was really impressed with all, because this is my first year in the Hawkeye marching band. I don't know if I already said that, but yeah, I was really impressed with all the gear that we've gotten. Honestly, I was not expecting to get like 3 t-shirts, shorts, a new Nike tennis shoes. I was showing my roommates my tennis shoes, and they were super jealous of them. Thought they were
Is that them in the
cool.
background?
No, was somebody behind me?
No, the shoes.
Oh yeah. Yep, the shoes are right there. I'm displaying them proudly because they're my pride and joy right now. The new Nike tennis shoes.
I mean, honestly, I feel like we like the $85 we paid for the course. We kind of like get it back in swag.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that had to have cost more than $85. Maybe the shoes just cost $85, honestly.
Compared to the shoes last year, feel blessed.
Oh,
What were the shoes? What were the shoes last year?
Kyle, do you have them? Oh, he's got them. They're kind of chunky. Like very much chunky.
These were the shoes last year.
Oh, wow, those are grandpa shoes.
Yeah, we called them dad shoes.
Oh yeah.
I bet they were comfy though.
No,
Oh, they weren't?
it's like walking on a brick. So it's
Dang,
not
that
it's
sucks.
not too fun.
And
I
like
was wondering.
before that, we had just like regular marching shoes, like not
Yeah, the
tennis.
MTXs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in my high school we used Dinkles, I think they were called. Dinkle marching shoes. And they were,
Dinkle.
yeah, I mean, the name speaks for itself, I think, on how comfortable they were. I mean, they were called Dinkles, they were the most uncomfortable shoes I think I've ever worn. But that was another thing I had to do as drum major. So we had to give out this award at the end of the year, at the end of the year banquets. And it was for marching, just being to rehearsal on time, just being a good member of the band. And the award was called the Golden Dinkle. So I had one of my old Dinkle shoes and I spray painted it gold, and then we would give it out to one of the members of the band. Yeah, it's pretty cool. No big deal. Yeah, it was a fun experience.
Wasn't last week's sponsor Spats? Is that correct, Kyle?
Yes.
So I did not know Spats existed till I came to the HMB, which is kind of sad to say.
I didn't really
know about Spats until last week when somebody took a picture of them. So,
because in my high school we had gauntlets. Did you have gauntlets?
No.
So like,
Is that something on your wrist?
Kind of like your spats for your arms. In essence, like you had your uniform sleeve, but then you would like put your gauntlets on, and it would just like, I don't know. For drum majors, our uniforms were black, and then we had white ones, and then the other uniforms they had black gauntlets. So like everyone's just hands look the same. And I don't know. I just thought they were cool. They're like a 3D effect for your hands. But
wait, so what do they hook onto? Do they hook on like the sleeve or what?
No, it's like Velcro.
Huh.
Yeah, and I could not put them on by myself till I was like a senior, which was really bad.
Did you wear gloves too?
Yeah. Yep.
Dang, that's a lot going on in the arm area. Was that like heavy conducting?
No, that's all I ever knew. So I guess maybe now it'd be bad, but
Yeah. I feel like the black uniforms are always like a good look. I was like the black. I feel like it's very, like just a tight, cool look for the drum major when they're wearing black. But that's just me, because we wore like the upper part, so like the vest part of our uniform was gray, and then my pants were white. So I never got to wear the black uniform, but oh well.
Yeah, we got in high school. We got new uniforms my sophomore year, so I felt like well, special. And basically the design of the uniforms was that we were completely black except we had a few gray stripes, so it was like a gradient on our torso, and then we had bright white gauntlets and then white gloves. So in the videos of our performances you can only see our hands moving, so it's basically just easier for people to watch us because they can't even see us, they can only see our hands usually. So
it's just like that floating hand from the Super Smash Bros. Games.
Yeah, what's Master Hand?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He creeped me out when I was a kid. He's still kind of creepy.
Well, yeah, it's just a floating hand.
I know, I don't like it. It's just like.
So like, how did that go when you were a drum major? So like, you were a drum major as a freshman. Like, how'd that go? I think you kind of talked about this, but like with senior members, like, was that a weird dynamic where you had maybe like senior members of the band that were part of the leadership, and then you were a freshman drum major, which I think a lot of people consider as like one of the top leadership positions in a band. So is there like a weird power dynamic there, or was it all good?
So going into high school competitive marching band as a freshman, I didn't really even know what was going on. So I was still learning with all the freshmen as the season was going on. And basically there were 3 of us that year, and there was a senior drum major. She taught me pretty much everything I knew, and she was a veteran. And then there was another new drum major. He was a junior. And so she could just kind of taught both of us. And basically the thought process of me doing it all 4 years was that we'd have consistency, and I would just get like so used to it by the end of the 4 years that I'd be able to pass it on like perfectly pretty much. And just, I don't remember ever having an issue with the upperclassmen. Like, I remember some of them were like kind of salty because there weren't that many people who auditioned for it, because it's just a lot of extra work like before and after band. And it's just, I don't know, I never really felt nervous for it, if that makes any sense. And I actually kind of liked it because it let me meet everyone easier than if I was just in the saxophone section. So I got to interact with more people, and I don't know, I think my biggest thing was building the camaraderie in our band. Through the 4 years of high school that we had, I think the camaraderie between sections and everything just like skyrocketed, and that's why we became like so competitive, and we realized that we have potential to be like a lot better than we were my freshman year. And so I don't know, have either of you heard of Valley Fest, the competition Valley Fest?
This is an Iowa thing?
I think,
yeah.
So. Yeah.
Well, there was a Wisconsin band there, but basically Valley Fest is like one of the only invite-only competitions in Iowa. And we had been invited because like we've been like, okay, and we placed like 4th or 5th every year. But each year we kind of just kept creeping up on some other bands. And then my senior year, we actually got 1st. And I just remember like crying with my other drum majors, and my band director was just like, and it was just completely out of nowhere. And it was just because I think that year our band was so cohesive, and we were all just having such a good time. It was such a fun show that like we built the program up, and I'm just very honored that I was able to be a part of that all 4 years. So I think, I just didn't really have any nerves going in, and no one like picked on me or anything for being a freshman. And overall, I think it worked out really well. Like,
yeah, one of the things like me being a drum major I was kind of surprised about was, I mean, I knew like I was going to have to be a leader going in, but one of the other things is being a teacher kind of, and how I figured out that those kind of are intertwined a little bit. You also have to be a good teacher and be able to know, especially like if you have a younger drum major that you're working with, you have to, I mean, they know nothing going in. It's kind of like when Kelsey was teaching me last week all the Hawkeye marching band fundamentals, because I had no idea like high step, all that stuff. So yeah, you definitely have to be a teacher in a way too, and that's always like really gratifying when you see somebody that's in like the same position as you and will be in that position the next year sort of take on those roles and find out that they can do it too, and they can be a successful drum major as well. So I think that's a really cool part of being a drum major too.
Yeah, it was just fun. I miss it. I always say like if there was one thing I could redo from high school, it'd just be like another band competition.
Yeah, I never got that experience, so now I kind of feel sad that I never got to, but I think it was cool. There's also parts of not being competitive that was nice too, like having a big band and having everyone be super chill, because from what I've heard from some people that do competitive, they say it's a lot more stressful, like they have a big show coming up and they have to get all this stuff together, whereas us, we were completely chilling all the time. We were not worried about anything. I mean, we obviously wanted our shows to look good because we performed for halftime at the home football game. So we wanted our stuff to look good, but it was never that stressful or that competitive. We were trying our best, but yeah.
So did you say you had a new show like every week?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, we didn't have every week because there wasn't always a home football game every week. So it's like every other week. So we'd have 2 weeks, we'd perform a show at halftime, and then we'd learn a new show. So I think we'd learn like 3 to 4 shows per year. So like separate music. So yeah. And then we'd have like this halftime routine or this pregame routine as well with that. But the pregame routine like never changed. It would always be the same. So
did you ever have a 3-day prep? Like
no. 3 days to learn a new show in 3 days.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, no. Did you guys have to do that?
Look forward to that next year.
Man, that sucked.
It's
3
rough.
days.
Which show was that?
Wasn't that Homecoming?
Yeah, but what was the show that we did? Like, what was like the songs, the tunes?
Homecoming? Oh shoot. Wasn't like the Lion King in there? Or like
Oh yeah, the musicals across America. Wasn't that was it?
It was
that show was not very good.
So explain to me, how do you only have 3 days to prepare for a show? Like, how does that work? Like, how did you get in that situation where you only had 3 days?
Because we had to perform at a high school on Tuesday, so we didn't have rehearsal on Tuesday. And like we do a new one for each home game, just like you did in high school. So like, since we didn't have Tuesday to rehearse, we only had Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that's the 3 days we had.
Wow.
It was rough. And just like the Tuesday night thing when we went to a high school is like we miss class and then you're gone late and you get back late.
Was that the one that was delayed and it was supposed to be earlier? Because one of them was delayed because of weather.
Was that when we went to? Are you talking about the one last year?
Yeah.
That was in the Quad Cities, wasn't it?
Maybe.
Or like the I don't know. There were just a lot of because it's where John Tom is from and Matthew.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because I remember it being like right before homecoming because my parents called me when we were there and they're like, "Hey, we're coming out for homecoming," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Oh yeah, because then on Saturday morning when we were rehearsing in Kinnick and all the alumni band was there and we ran through the show, that was so bad.
The alumni band embarrassed of you guys?
I mean, I don't think they noticed, but we were all just so frazzled. We were like, huh. Because we had the parade the night before, right?
Yeah, that too. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Didn't that make it so we had a shorter Friday rehearsal?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Time was just against us completely for that show.
I remember now during band camp week, Bush was going through the schedule. He's like, "Okay, just be ready. Homecoming week is gonna take a hit." Like, and we're like, "Okay." It was rough.
But our last show, we had like a whole month for Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
That was really nice.
Yeah, because then we got like a whole week off
just
to recover.
Yeah, I feel like the schedules are like the college football schedules are always weird that way, where it's like you can have like 4 home games in a row and then two or 3 weeks where you don't have a home game. I thought that was weird last year because I had season tickets and I went to all the games last year, and I always thought that was kind of disappointing when you'd be so excited for game days or whatever, but then you would have 3 weeks where there was no game day, so it's kind of disappointing. But
I can't imagine learning a new show for every home game though for high school. Because like, how long were your shows?
our shows were like, I would say like, I don't know, probably I think we'd play like 2 or 3 songs per show. So yeah, I don't think we were like moving for all of the songs, but like the first couple songs we play, we'd have like a moving part, and then the last song it would be more stationary or whatever. But yeah, I mean, again, kind of like in college too, we had sometimes it'd be 2 weeks and sometimes it'd be 3 weeks too, depending on your schedule or whatever. So it wasn't too bad. And since it wasn't competitive, I did kind of feel like I just felt like we had a lot of time so it wasn't the worst thing ever. But yeah. So did you like just learn one show?
Yes.
So you learned one show and just perfected that one show?
Mm-hmm. Like, it was kind of like drum corps. Like, we took a lot of influence from drum corps, where we had a show made for us, and so we'd buy this show, and then we'd like buy color guard costumes and all the silks, and everything was tailored to us. And then after the season, we'd resell the show. And so like we really just hammered in the show into our brains, and that was that. And like by the end of the season, everyone was kind of getting tired of it. But like at our last performances, we'd always be just like emotional and be like, oh, I want to do it again. So like, you know, you get that fatigue in there anyway. But Kyle, I can't believe you didn't have a marching band.
Well, yeah, I don't get what the deal was, because we had the uniforms, like in like the band locker area, we had uniforms, and like someone asked our director one time, they're like, hey, how come we don't have a marching band? And he's like, because we don't have the budget, which I guess maybe means they didn't want to pay him extra for extra rehearsals. Maybe, I don't know. But like everyone wanted a marching band in our high school, or like everyone in band wanted a marching band. They were like, what's the deal?
How many like kids did you have in your band program?
I don't know. We had 3 bands in our high school, and they were like, I don't know, maybe 100-ish. So maybe a total of around 300 people in the entire high school, if I were to guess. Maybe more, maybe less. There were like overlaps in the bands though. So like, I don't know, somewhere around there.
Honestly, if I was in high school and didn't have band, I don't know if I would have done it. Like marching band, I mean, if I didn't have a marching band, because that was a lot of people I knew were in concert band in my high school, because they knew that meant, because you were in concert band, you had to be in marching band and vice versa. So people knew if they wanted to be in marching band, they had to be in concert band. So I think that's one of the reasons why people stuck in concert band, is because they wanted to do marching band in the fall, because that was like the highlight of the year. So.
Did you both have more than one director?
Yeah, we had 2. I had 2, but one of them was
I had 2 direct.
One of them was like new, like he just got out of a college, and I think he started out as just like a student teacher at first, and then he became a director.
Yeah, I had 2 like directors that were full time, and then we had one director that directed one of our concert bands and also helped with the marching band. Who he mainly taught in the middle school, but he would conduct one of our bands. And then during marching band, we'd have a couple of, because I'm from Ames, so we'd have Iowa State student TAs come and help us too. So yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. They were big on the Iowa State band, but I'm happy I'm in the HMB, that's for sure.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Yeah, I just like can't imagine going to a bigger school where you have like more than one concert band, or you have an orchestra or anything like that.
So is that a big transition, like coming to Iowa then, where it's like a bigger, coming from like a smaller high school?
It was different. Basically, it was a huge transition, because going from my little high school to with like 100 people in the band, to coming here with 260/70. I don't know, they change it every time I hear it. Marching Hawkeyes. I'm like, every day at band, I see a new face. I'm like, I've never seen you before, but you're here. So even now, I'm still getting adjusted to it, because it's just like, I didn't know. I've seen you the past 3 years, and I don't know. So it is big. It's a big difference. But like I said, when I was in high school, I got to know pretty much everyone in my band, and I made a lot of connections through there. And so I really liked the closeness of it. And everyone who did marching band was in concert band, so then we'd just move inside, and yeah, we were a little clique. It was fun.
Yeah, I would say in my band, the way we got to know people is definitely through our sections. So like the saxophone section in my band, everyone was super close, and we were sort of act as a family, like within the bigger family, because there's no way you can get to know everyone. I mean, you can try and know everyone's name and stuff, but in a 300-person band, it's pretty tough to actually have a real connection with everyone in the band. So we would try and connect with people in our sections. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that was another big difference when I came here, was that I'm just so close with the saxes, and we like sections do everything together. Like you put your cases with your sections, and you're always in your squad with your sections. And that was a big difference for me, because we didn't have squads in high school. So everyone was intermingled. I mean, the sections were small enough that everyone intermingled anyway, like for games and stuff. And so just the different sections just keep the organization alive at Iowa. It was just, that was very new to me. And I really appreciate it because like now I know all the Saxes so well, and we're a pretty big group, especially this year. We have a huge group. So I like that organization of it, of being in a bigger band.
Yeah, I've definitely felt like I've like sort of become a part of like a family, like within the band and the saxophones. I mean, I know I've only been in the band for like 2 weeks now, but everyone's super close and super fun to be with. So I think the saxophones, I think it's a good group. That's for sure.
Yeah, how's the, oh, sorry, what, Kyle?
I said the best group.
The best group. Yeah, excuse me. Sorry.
Not last.
Well,
okay, this section.
I mean, WA is.
Well, as a member of WA, there's
Here we
a
go.
lot of reports going around about what happened in that competition, and I think we did our best and we did pretty well, no matter what anyone says about the final results.
As long as you try your best, you're the winner.
That is true. That is true. We definitely won the day.
You won the day.
Yeah.
Good way to put it.
Seize the day.
Seize the day, yeah. No.
How is
Yeah,
the-
it's kind of sad though. I can't like, because you guys are both in IO, so it's kind of sad.
Well, we're
we
both in
can't
I.
like march together and stuff.
Hi.
Oh, WA.
Oh, what a team player. Look at you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is kind of weird because like Kelsey is my mentor. If then people want to know that Kelsey is my mentor this year, so it's kind of sad we got split apart. Yeah, Kelsey and I started like I think Kelsey reached out to me over email, and then that was like the day after Dr. Bush. We did that big group Zoom meeting for the first time, and so I had heard that we were doing like that Snapchat competition, and I just wanted to get on that right away. So Kelsey and I have a Snap streak going, and we're planning on winning that competition.
Yeah, we are gonna win.
I feel like no one could have started it earlier than we did.
Mm-mm.
No one possibly could have started it earlier than we did because we started it like the day after that was announced that we were doing that competition. So got my fingers
That prize
crossed.
better be good. I don't know what it'll be, but
Well, whatever it is, it's probably actually going to go to work crew.
oh.
Why is it going to go to work crew?
Have you heard about Halloween last year?
I have not heard about Halloween last year.
Oh,
I'm still upset to this day.
Kelsey, you can tell them.
So every year the HMB has a Halloween costume competition. Well, I don't even know if it was a competition 2 years ago, but last year we had a competition. And the Saxes have this amazing inside joke of preps versus goths.
From a fanfic, yeah.
Yes, My Immortal fan fiction. Our section leader last year, Tyler, would just read it to us centrally on the bus. It was a lot. We need to educate all the first years on this. But you're either a prep or you're a goth, and we don't like fucking preps. So basically, what we did is we divided the section in two, and we had preps versus goths. And everyone went all out. Like the preps, I was a prep. I wore my AirPods. I had a Starbucks Frappuccino. I had my khakis and a Patagonia shirt, and I had my Vans. And like Ashley's from a private school, so she wore her private school uniform. And then the goths just like, oh my God, we have these cult coats for when it's cold out. We have these parkas, and they just look like, I don't even know. They look like witches' uniforms or something.
Weren't we also like divided perfectly in half?
Yeah. And so all the goths, like, and someone brought makeup, so they all smeared black smudge all over their face, and like there was black lipstick, there were chains, beanies, all this stuff, and we just went all out. And it was perfect half and half. Literally no one did not participate. We all participated. We got these cool pictures. We were acting out our roles like to people, and like I was talking like this, and I don't know. It was just fun. It was a good time.
I changed my name that day to Vile Sickness.
Oh yeah, and they all had their goth names. And so we just sold it. We were just so good. And then at the end of rehearsal, do you remember the standings? Do you remember like who got first and second and third and stuff?
Well, yeah. The first was work crew.
Yeah.
And
first
then
was work crew.
Melly's got a shout out.
Yeah. Okay. So
Because
Melly's.
Michael was a Melly.
Yeah. So Melly's literally just wore Big Ten school shirts.
Like not even all of them. Like some of them just had paper that said Maryland on it, like that they taped to their like shirt.
And then work crew, they were like Dr. Bush, right?
Yeah. They just had like a little flip up on their hair, and then they like drew on stubble, and they wore a polo shirt with like a little microphone around their neck.
Mm-hmm. And then the baritones, I think they got like second or something. The baritones are the rats, so they all dressed up like rats, but only like 2 of them did, and they just had little fake ears and like paper tails, and that was it. So I just remember seething with anger that day.
We were all mad.
Oh yeah, because like I don't know. That's why like I freaked out so much when IO got second place. I was like, yes, we did it.
We beat the system.
Redemption.
See, this is how we felt in WA band, because we thought we did our best and we thought we looked pretty good compared to the other bands, but we felt robbed. But we did get first, if anyone asks, by the way. So.
But they did get first. So
yes, we did.
So if you average out our first and second places, that's probably means we're like the best fundamentals section in the band.
I think I would have to agree with you on that.
Yes, I think we hold the title now. So yeah, I'm glad we got that back in IO. That was a good way to end band camp, I think.
Do you think we're going to do a similar Halloween themed thing this year?
Probably.
I feel like we got to do something different from goths and preps.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it fresh. Because then they'd be like, oh, you didn't win because you're the same thing as last year.
Yeah, we'd get screwed over again.
Yeah, we got to think of something good. We got to think of something good for Halloween, so we bring that title back home for the Saxes.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what did they win?
Like a cup holder or something?
I don't remember. I stomped out of there. I was not having it, so I didn't see what they got.
Yeah, I don't remember what they got. They said what it was, but I forgot.
No one has said sax cheer yet, Kyle.
Well, you just did.
Yeah. What do you think of the sax cheer, Christian?
The sax cheer is, I think, one of my favorite parts of band each day. Not gonna lie. So during the sectionals, at least in WA band, we've been practicing a lot of sax cheer because I think that's the thing we need the most work on during sectionals. So we definitely spend the most time on it because it's very difficult and a demanding piece of music to learn. So we've been spending a lot of time on the sax cheer, but we've been getting good at it. We get in a circle all the time and we like play. It's like a call and response. So the person next to you plays, and then you like turn around and play to the other person, and we like try and do it as fast as we can. So
man,
yeah, it's been pretty fun.
We're really slacking with the sax cheer and IO band.
No, IO band needs to get the sax cheer in gear. We'll do that in warm-ups next sectional. That's what we'll do.
I just hope we get the opportunity to play it at Kinnick sometime, because I feel like the crowd would just be fan favorite right away, automatically.
Oh yeah. At the pregame rec show, saxes just step out.
So like how did the sax cheer just come to be? Like,
well, Lauren mentioned it in the last episode.
I made it up, Kyle.
Did you make it up?
Yeah.
Oh, love that.
Didn't you steal it from?
I like that.
It's from Bye Bye Bye.
Yeah.
And now it's the sax cheer.
We're gonna make it official. We're gonna make it. It'll have to go in the agenda for the day.
What should the hand signal be for it? Just this should be like the hand signal for it.
Or just like this.
Yeah. Easy money.
All right, well, we're at like an hour just about, and I think the Zoom's probably going to automatically end. So let's conclude. Do either of you have anything you want to say to end it off?
Docs.
I would like to say, I think you have cool posters, and also go Ox.
Thanks. All right.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yep. Come to join in next week to listen to the next episode. Man, that didn't come out very well.